Good morning and welcome again to Travels with Monkey Boy. Today we are on day 5 of the Seychelles Islands. I'll get us started with the story and then map and pictures as always. So vacationing with me is not for the sleepy. I arranged tickets for the 7 a.m. ferry from Praslin to Digue Island. To get to the ferry, we had to take a boat from our little island to get to Praslin, then taxi to the ferry spot and be there half an hour before ferry departure to check in. I had the timing down precisely, but when we went to leave our villa at 5:45 a.m., the front door lock was broken, trapping us inside. We called the concierge and she came running down with her key, which also didn't work. So the door wouldn't open at all. She coached us to go out the side door, whose lock was completely broken, and then climb up a 6-foot granite rock, half asleep, in flip-flops, in the pitch dark, with a 30-pound backpack. As we had no choice, we did what we were told and managed to make it down to the dock in time. The 15-minute ferry ride was tranquil, with calm seas and a boat filled mainly with workers going from their homes on Praslin to their jobs on Digue. The guidebook and our concierge all discouraged us from taking the early morning ferry, but outside of losing some sleep, it seemed like the perfect time. Digue is French for the dike. In a storm of creativity, it was named after one of the 1789 French ships that found the island. Another terrible name by the French for perhaps the most beautiful of the Seychelles Islands. It is the third most populated island in the Seychelles at nearly 3,000 people. Another of the glories of Seychelles is there just aren't that many people to bother you. Of course, the people are a problem. Settled around 1800 by the French and their slaves, the main industry was coral lime production. They used human chattel, slaves, to destroy the coral reef surrounding the island to make the soil slightly better to grow tiny bits of French vanilla, even though coconut trees grew all over the island and the coral reefs were filled with fish. Oh, people. Digue is also tiny. The three main islands are Mahi at 60 square kilometers, Praslin at 15 square kilometers, and Digue at 4 square kilometers, 2 miles by 2 miles. There are almost no cars on Digue because, really, what's the point? So when you arrive on the island, the bike hawkers come after you. At 7 a.m., it was mostly sleepy bike hawkers and almost no customers. So within 10 minutes, we found a couple of good bikes for $20 for the day, and 5 minutes after that, bike to a cute open-air coffee shop to fuel up. The day was unspectacular from a storytelling point of view. Ant's Source d'Argent is considered by many to be the most beautiful beach in the world. You can see it behind me. There's Danielle right behind our spot. Um, so we packed snorkeling equipment, beach blankets, and books for a day in the beach. To get there, it was about a mile and a half bike ride. And before reaching the beach, we had to pay an admission fee to an old colonial estate that owns the beach. The admission fee also gave us a chance to tour the old colonial mansion, not that great, the old cemetery. One of the people buried there was an assassin who had tried to kill Napoleon, and upon his arrest, was sent in exile to Digue. The French are even bad at punishment. And the vanilla and coconut plantations, which on an island this small were correspondingly microscopic and not worth having destroyed the reef for. But the beach, wow. The main point of taking the early morning ferry was that we knew the next ferry didn't come for 2 hours. We thought the beach would be quiet at this time. Quiet, most beautiful beach in the world, and we were the only ones there. We did a bit of exploration and then lay our beach towels down in the premium spot next to the 30-foot tall granite boulder sticking out of the powdery sand under a grove of palm trees and slept and swam and read in paradise. As you can see behind me, that's our spot. We had this beach to ourselves for 2 hours. So we had these two glorious, peaceful hours until the other tourists arrived. And in this enormously empty beach, Two German tourists came and laid their stuff down right next to us. 10 minutes later, their friends came and did the same thing. Hundreds of yards of beach with six people on top of each other and then emptiness. People suck. Still, their strategy worked pretty good quickly as we moved from the ideal spot to a suboptimal spot, but it was the same sun and the same sand. After I had attained maximum sunburn, we got back on the bikes and rode to this amazing pizza place for late lunch. We then went back and toured the graveyard with the giant fruit bats flying overhead and walked through the colonial mansion and dreamed of a life long ago. Okay, that's the story. Let me show you some pictures. Okay. All right. So there was a swamp right before the beaches. Apparently, if we wandered around along the beach, we might see some amazing birds. The mosquitoes had other plans. This was the bird we were hoping to see because, of course, this paradise flycatcher could be found only on this island. No, it's not my picture, so don't compliment me on it. The beginning of the famous beach. There are lines to get on the swing later in the day, but when you're there, the first boat ride, you got it all to yourself. There's the pretty girl on the pretty beach. Danielle said, let's keep going. It might get better. Better than paradise? Okay, whatever. Exploring, you could walk for an hour amongst the boulders. Glimpses of Gondwana land. See the giant granite boulders? The old mountain from Gondwana land. And here's some more of the beach. Danielle adding to the beauty. Look at the giant fruit bats that were always our companion. Did I mention there was a bar 20 steps away from our idyllic spot? So we had the beach to ourselves, the bar to ourselves, the ocean to ourselves for 2 hours. And the sleepy people didn't. The water was so clear, there was no need for a mask and snorkel. You can see the fish right there. And again, this was the mansion. So it looks like a really nice place to live. Here's a cemetery, really nice place to die. And returning back to our little villa that I was complaining about yesterday. I can be an idiot. Okay, and that is all I've got for you today. So have a nice day and we'll see you tomorrow.